What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the guide to RFL Gridiron for College Football 25. So, if you're watching this video and you have the role Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, or Tier 4, then you are currently signed up. You've picked your team, you're ready to go. Skip this next short little part and then you can watch the rest of the video. If you don't have that role, you're probably asking, what is Gridiron? Gridiron is a head-to-head league where you sign up, you get placed into a tier, you pick a team, and then you play a regular season, you play a conference championship, you play the playoffs, and then you go into a relegation system to move up or move down depending on where you've placed in that season. So season 1 kicks off July 29th. We got 125 people, I think, signed up right now, and growing rapidly. So make sure you sign up quick to get you a good team. Now, once we get into Tier 5 and beyond, you're not going to pick a team. You're just going to play games and keep track that way and then plug and play, move up, and things like that from tier to tier. So what is step number 1 that you need to do once you are a part of Gridiron? You've picked your team. You've got the roles. You're ready to go. What you're going to do is you're going to come up here to Channels and Roles. You're going to click it. Go to Browse Channels, and you're going to scroll down to where you see College Football 25 Gridiron. Click Follow Category. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is you're going to find your tiers. So Tier 1, Tier 2, 3, 4, whatever the case is. Then you're going to click Follow Category. Now, if you're in any of our dynasties, you're going to want to follow those dynasties as well. I know some people are telling me that's why they can't find channels. Probably not following them. It's okay. Secondly, be sure to sign up for our College Football 25 $500 kickoff tournament that takes place on release night, July 19th, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. You go to events, and it'll direct you to where to sign up for that. So once you follow these channels and you got access to everything over here, here's what you're going to do. Now, I'm going to go through Tier 1 and Tier 2, and then Tier 3. Tier 4 usually going to be the same as Tier 3, and then Tier 2 usually is actually the same as Tier 1. So I'm just going to do 2 of them. But basically, you're going to have these channels. Now, Tier 1 is going to look a little bit different, but you got Tier 1 news where like I've announced their schedules and all that stuff. General chat is just general. Scheduling, this is where you will schedule your games against other coaches. Coach list, this is where you can see who is who, so you can look and see who you're playing, and then you'll see what team they are. This is the access to the Tier 1 hub. This is where they see their standings, the leaderboards, the record book, history, schedule, stat input, and stat sort. Now, Tier 3 and Tier 4 are not going to have this, but that is what Tier 1 is going to look like. Tier 1 polls, this is where they will do their coaches poll each week. Scores, this is where they will submit their scores. And stats, this is where they will submit their stats. Now, there's also going to be a channel for like if you're going out of town on vacation, you can put in there, hey, I'm going to be gone these dates. That way we don't forfeit you because you are telling us, hey, you're out of town, you can't play. We don't penalize people for that. Now, Tier 2, again, yours is pretty much the same. Tier 3, this is where things get a little bit different. So you do have the Tier 3 news. You do have general. Same thing. You have scheduling. You got the coach list. You've got the hub. Now, your hub is going to be a little bit different. So what you're going to do when we're in season or week number 1, okay, so these are your standings, right? When we're in week number 1, you're going to be able to come right here. You're going to go to matches. You're going to go to round 1. You're going to see who you play. All right, so if I'm Army, I play Southern Miss in week 1. I go to coach list. I find who's Southern Miss. I don't know if they're on here. Yep, right there, Breezy. So I'm playing Breezy in week number 1. I'm going to go right here to scheduling. I'm going to at Breezy. Hey, we play. When are you free this week? Boom, just like that. Okay. And once you send that message, I would also copy this and then DM him directly. So once you do it, you can do it like this and then that, and then you're going to send it again. Okay? Very, very simple process. Thank you, Breezy. Please ignore that message, pink. Regardless, that's what Tier 3 looks like. Then right here, once you play the game, you come right here, you submit your score. It's that simple, guys. That is the key to Gridiron and what you need to do. Play your games, be active, and make sure you're communicating with your opponents so that we don't forfeit you. It's 1 game a week. It's that simple. 1 game per week for every tier. It does not matter. Tier 4, again, yours is very, very similar to tier number 3. Your hub, however, is not final. Now keep in mind you're kind of the bottom tier, but really tier 1, 2, and 3 are all filled, so we can't put you in those. So that's kind of how why you are where you are. And as you can see, like all these spots are filled, all these spots are filled, and then you get down to like right here, and they're not. So one or two things could happen for tier 4. We keep adding guys up to 64, and these spots are going to get filled, obviously. Or like say Doc drops out, he's not playing in Gridiron anymore, or he leaves the Discord before July 29th, something like that. Then basically we would take player 49 Para or 50 Goblet and move them up. That way these all have a full group, so they can all play their games. And then like just say for instance we move Para up, Goblet's in this one with 2 other people, play those 2 people. When we get that next guy added, everybody will play him, so on and so forth. Now that's pretty much how you're going to navigate through the season. And then here's what you're going to want to keep a check on. So I'll do all the announcements in here. Very simple process to follow and everything. Okay, so here's what you look like for each season, or each tier. Tier 4, I haven't decided how I'm going to do your playoffs yet. It's going to be probably like top 3 in each group make playoffs, top 4, something like that. And it's going to be a long bracket. Not 100% yet. That's why yours isn't on here. But tier 1, this is based on groups or division. So if you finish 6th in your group in tier 1, you're going to a bowl game. If you finish 7th in your group in tier 2, you're headed to relegation. If you finish 2nd in your group in tier 3, you're headed to playoffs. We've already announced the playoff bracket. It is up here, right there. So that's a beautiful thing. I think we've tweaked this a little bit, like flip these 2, flip those 2, things like that. So it's not the official bracket, but it is kind of give you guys an idea of what to expect. Now, CFP 25 news, some stuff will be posted in here. Get to the rule book. This might need updated just a hair from all the expansions and things like that, and I can probably do that. So that's 17 through 48. There's 49 through 80, I think. Something like that. And then this is going to be 80 through 132. So, 130, 144, actually. Perfect. Okay, so that's fixed. So this is where you're going to be able to learn all about what Gridiron is. So no cross-platform for Dynasty, so we have to use the Play a Friend feature. Tiers are strictly, what tiers are, guys, is basically, think about how this game is going to be designed. If you're one of the first people to sign up and you get Texas, and then you're player 134 and you sign up and you get left with UMass, if you were to be scheduled up against Texas in the season or in the game, I don't care how good you are, if that Texas user is half competent, he's going to beat you. It is what it is. He's just a better team. It's not going to happen. So that's why we have the tiers set up the way we do. It's nothing to do with skill. It's strictly, now you can move up based on skill with a relegation, but we also move people up like we just did with 32 guys last week. Move them up based on pure activity in the Discord. So here's content that you can expect based on your tier. Tier 4, not a whole lot going on there, just because we don't want to put a lot of effort into giving you guys a whole bunch of content if something happens and somebody drops out or 3 people drop out or something like that. So that's another reason why what we are doing, and I've announced this, everyone will have to confirm your spot in Gridiron starting July 22nd. Maybe it's July 15th through July 22nd. And then, July 15th through July 22nd, everyone has to confirm their place in Gridiron. You're going to get a DM from me, Zach, or Ender. Basically, hey, this is your chance to confirm your spot in Gridiron. You have until July 22nd to respond. If you do not respond, you will be replaced. It's that simple. Don't respond, you get replaced. You come back, but you're in Tier 2. You don't respond, you're dropping down in Tier 4. It's just that simple. I'm not putting up with bullshit. Okay, so Gridiron relegation. So relegation between tiers will happen every season. I'm changing that because seasons are pretty long. Will be determined by placement. Again, I'll go in and update this, guys. So top 3, that's going to be top 4 coaches in each tier will move up. That will be decided by playoffs, and then the bottom 4 will be decided by your regular season. So Again, relegation is not limited. Coaches can be moved up or down based on participation in Gridiron, Classic, online tournaments, social media, things of that nature. Showing up for streams. Again, just be active, guys. I'm looking for active guys. I'd rather have a guy that goes 0-8 and plays all his games on time, shows up to every stream. I'd rather put him in Tier 1 than have a guy that goes 8-0, a headache to deal with, doesn't schedule games good, bad at communicating. You're not getting moved up. I don't care how good you are. It's that simple. Gridiron rules, these are going to change a ton once the game comes out and we actually see what the playing is like, if we need to update the sliders, things like that. So, like scheduling your game rules, this is submitting stats and stuff like that. We encourage everyone to record or stream their gameplay, especially off the rip, so if something does happen with lag or somebody lags out or something like that, we have something to resort back to. Leave a game before it is completed will result in a loss for that game and your next game. If you rage quit just because you lost the game, then you're out. Like, you're forfeiting that game, you forfeit the next game, and then we'll go from there. Repeat offense will be removed from the league. So if you rage quit your first game, forfeit the second, rage quit your third, you're out the league. It's that simple. If you lag out a bunch, guys, if you're a bad connection, you're going to know that early on. Don't sign up for this league because you're just going to waste people's time trying to schedule games, show up, lag out, halfway through, lag out, fourth quarter, lag out. You're wasting your opponent's time, really, and that's just kind of a respect thing. So if you got bad internet and you're constantly lagging out of games, just set this one out, please. If you play or lag out, you got one makeup attempt. If it's bad connection, that's why we recommend recording your game. So please submit rule proposals. Anything you think that we could do to make this league better. It could be banned plays, glitch plays, adjustments, anything. Then submit that and let us discuss it. Coaches who forfeit more than 25% of their games will be demoted a division, and coaches who forfeit more than 35% of their games will be forced to choose a new team. So if you're Texas or Alabama or LSU or whatever and you want that team specifically, then you forfeit 35% of your games, you're going to get demoted and you're going to lose your team. It's very clear-cut and pretty dry here, I feel like. Gameplay rules, this is what I was referring to as to what's going to change as everything goes out. We do have some, like, respect rules, if you will, and I know this is probably a long video. We're only 12 minutes. Okay, so like, don't chew clock, guys. Like, you potentially could have, because we're playing like 6-minute quarters, 5-minute quarters, maybe 7-minute quarters. We don't want somebody that's going to chew, a quarter and a half off the clock, score a touchdown, then they got one possession, and then it's halftime. Like, we want some, now if that's your game plan, it's playoffs and you can do it, cool. But don't run chew clock just to, we're trying to make it a little bit fair for everybody. And a little video game like, if we were 15-minute quarters, run chew clock all you want. But we got limited time here. So, fourth down rules, you're going to want to read these over before the season actually starts. So, if you're on the -40 or closer, can't go for it unless it's the second half. No fourth down attempts over 5 yards in the first half. Strictly, again, we don't want players that come in and just go for it every freaking fourth down. That's not football. No one's going for it except for that one coach that's not even coaching anymore, I think. He's going for it every fourth down. Don't be that guy. So trying to make it a little bit realistic, but also trying to put some video game access into it too. So no fourth down attempts over 10 yards in the second half unless you're trailing. So if you're up 14, you shouldn't be going for it on 4th and 11. No fourth down attempts over 5 yards in the second half behind the +40 unless trailing. So let's think about this. No fourth down attempts over 5 yards in the second half behind the +40. This is kind of like that range of if you're up 14 and if you're at the -45 and it's 4th and 6, punt the ball. Okay, I understand, like, all of you could go for it, but again, this just goes back to we won't want guys that go for it every fourth down. Okay, so we got to put some limitations on when they can and cannot go for it. Fourth down attempts on 4th and goal from inside the 10 are allowed at any point in the game, regardless of score. So, technically, if it's 4th and 12, but it's technically 4th and goal, we'll say 4th and goal from the 9. Okay, from inside the 10. So if it's 4th and goal from inside the 9 in the first half, technically, no fourth down attempts over 5 yards, but it's 4th and goal inside the 10. Go for it. I understand. It's football. All right. All rules are voided if players down by 18 or more. So if you're down by 18, don't worry about it. This mercy rule, just go for it. No onside kicks unless fourth quarter and trailing. Got to be realistic with there. Must rush a minimum of 3 defenders. We're going to have to revisit this one. This could be taken out because a certain someone wanted to cause some ruckus with being able to QB contain and whatnot. So I will double check on that and see if we're going to keep that one in there. Caleb, if you're watching this, get with me. 1 fake field goal or 1 fake poor punt, poor game. So don't go in there, run a fake punt just because you can't go for it on fourth, and then go the next possession, do a fake field goal. Like, you got 1. That's it. Save it. Use it wisely. Not allowed to commit a penalty to stop the clock. Pretty self-explanatory. All right, tiebreakers, and then these are amendments to the rules that we will add if we're middle of the season or something like that. So that's it. That's a lot. This is your Gridiron Deep Dive. If you have questions, let me know. That's why I'm here for it. Resort back to the video. Resort to Discord. Everything you need is either right here or right here. Okay. Could be in this video as well. So there's a ton of places you can go. There's a lot of people you can ask. The main thing, watch this video, check out this document, make sure you have access to all of these channels and then all the channels for your tier. If you don't, then you're going to want to go back to channels and roles, browse channels, and make sure you follow the ones you need. Appreciate it, guys. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will see you guys July 29th for the kickoff of Gridiron Season 1 on College Football 25.